Now, while there are quite a few American automakers that have left their mark in India and that come from this whole Detroit area, like Ford or Jeep, for example, there are now some Indian automakers that are now leaving their mark on the American mobility scene. And we're just outside Detroit. We're in a place called Ann Arbor, which is of course famous for the University of Michigan, also famous for a lot of component automakers all around the world that have their bases, American bases, here in Ann Arbor. And we're of course, as the big board there or the big banner there would suggest, at Genze, at the Mahindra Genze plant in the United States. Below us, of course, is their small but quite quick and quite capable assembly line where they make the electric scooters. Over on the left side, behind all those containers, is the bicycle plant where they make the electric bicycles. But they do make the electric scooters here, and that's the one that we are more interested in from a mobility standpoint, because electric scooters, of course, a big segment, a big growing segment, a segment with a lot of talk all of a sudden in India. Where it finally gets completed right about there, and then you actually see a completed Genze scooter right there, which then goes up on the dyno and gets its final testing. On the whole, as we mentioned earlier, about 1.5 hours or so to actually assemble it from component level to a complete rolling motorcycle. They do put in test batteries here, and then they do put in fresh batteries at the point of delivery so that the batteries don't sort of lie around and do nothing and discharge on their own. But again, small operation, quite interesting though, and we're definitely looking forward to looking at the scooter at a little more detail. So let's get down on that shop floor. Let's have a closer look now, and let's bring you all the technology that it packs, and it does pack a lot of technology.
The Genze assembly line is a simple 5-step process with 5 individual people doing their part and a few more people adding to the sub-assemblies. And it is actually quite a simple task. The swing arm gets mounted first onto the frame, and then it's off to get the wiring harness, the lights, the front suspension, the handlebars, the seat, and of course those wheels. And after it rolls off the assembly line, it gets straight onto the rolling road where it buzzes to life for the first time and undergoes a simulated riding test.
So here it is then, it's just come off the production line, a completely production ready version, soon to be shipped off to its proud new owner. It is brand new. It of course does not have certain components on it like the little guard on the front, the little screen on the front, and the mirrors. Those are still in the back, and that's how it will be delivered to sort of limit what damage could be possible during shipping of cargo. But now let's take you through the specs of this in general. Now it does have a hub motor at the back. So it's a little hub motor here, which is a 2 horsepower motor, but the big figure, the important figure is of course torque. Now your average little hatchback from a Maruti Suzuki might make about 70-80 Newton meters. This makes 100 Newton meters of torque, which is what gives it the performance. 30 mile an hour range was what it used to give. Now it's up to 35 miles an hour. It also runs on a 48 volt electric power plant and a 2 kilowatt per hour motor, but the top speed is 30 miles an hour. Now with an average size rider on it, it does 30 miles, 0 to 30 in about 8 seconds. Somebody like me on it, it does 0 to 30 in about 10 seconds, and that's in sport mode. Now what sport mode, you ask? Well, it does get riding modes. So you get easy, you get eco, you get a custom mode where you can actually set up how you want the scooter to ride, and then of course my favorite, sport mode, because I do like the throttle all the time jammed wide open. You do get ride by wire, obviously, because it's an electric scooter. You do get LED headlamps in the front because they just save on energy. LED tail lamps, LED indicators, all of that is of course LED. And you get a 12-inch wheel at the back and a 16-inch wheel at the front, and that is when I come to my favorite design element, which is the little Z or the Z in the disc brakes. Now these are a little homage to the company itself. In my opinion, it is also the coolest styling feature. I do like these little small elements and little small attention to detail. Other features include, of course, the fact that you get a single seat, because that's how a moped is classified in the United States. So you don't have to go through a big homologation process, and you get this big load bay at the back. Now the load bay is customizable. In fact, the Genze is available in 10 variants, and most of these have to do with the fact that you get either a little tray on the back, you get this open one, or you get a completely closed plastic box. In terms of colors, you get 4. There's a lovely green here, which is not really a part of production, but the white one, of course, is the most popular, because that's what all the fleet buyers prefer to, because you can put a whole bunch of decals or stickers on it. It does take that really well. Now these ones are production bikes. They've just been rolled out, so they do come with a temporary battery. Now the battery is removable. There's a little switch down here, and this folds out, and you actually can pull it out and take it along with you. You can take it home, you can take it to a coffee shop, and you can charge it up. Now completely empty to completely full, battery charges in just under 4 hours. Of course, that you will never do, because you'll never actually run it out of charge. Now, this is an American spec bike, so it doesn't have a key, it's completely digital. There is a Peugeot variant right here, which is the European one, which does have certain subtle differences. For example, you have these little crash bobbins on the side, and you do have a traditional key. So that's something that only the European version has, because by law you're mandated to have one in Europe, while in the United States you can have actually a digital locking system.
So there you go, an exclusive first look here on Car and Bike of the new Mahindra Genze production facility in Ann Arbor and the Genze electric two-wheeler itself. And if this excites you, next week I'm off to the absolutely beautiful and very hilly city of San Francisco to get onto one of these and take in the sights. So stay tuned for that.